was Dr. Anthony Joseph Garcia, with a date of birth of June 7th, 1973, for 4 counts of first-degree murder and use of a weapon to commit the murders. Dr. Garcia was arrested in the state of Illinois today and currently lives in Terre Haute, Indiana. Dr. Garcia worked in Creighton's pathology department from July 2000 until June of 2001, where he was a resident. His employment ended when he was terminated by Dr. Hunter and Dr. Brumback. The task force has been monitoring Dr. Garcia's movements for a period of time. Our original operational plan was to serve a search warrant on his home in Terre Haute, Indiana tomorrow. However, it became necessary to make an arrest today, and Dr. Garcia was pulled over during a traffic stop by the Illinois State Police today. He was arrested without incident, and he did show signs of alcohol impairment and had a .45 caliber handgun on his person at the time. Members of the task force flew out of Omaha to various states across the country on Sunday. At this time, search warrants are being served in each of the states that we visited in continuation of this investigation. It would have been my preference to have every member of the task force standing behind me today. However, we're needed across the country as we continue this investigation. It is imperative that I do not divulge too much of the evidence that law enforcement has on this case, because it is ongoing prosecution and I don't want to damage that aspect. At this point in our investigation, we are led to believe that he committed these murders alone, and we are investigating the history of Dr. Garcia. The task force also utilized the assistance of the FBI's National Behavioral Analysis Unit. Dr. Garcia has not lived in Omaha for 12 years that we are aware of. The victims' families and Creighton University were notified of this arrest just prior to my press conference. Even though an arrest has been made, the task force will remain in effect as we continue this investigation. I want to personally thank the task force for their hard work, dedication, and service to solving these homicides. And I'm aware that members of the task force are watching this conference from across the country, and I want them to know they have my personal thanks, and I want them to be safe as they continue their investigation. And please remember, this is an ongoing investigation, and we have been in constant consultation with Douglas County Attorney Don Klein and Assistant Douglas County Attorney Brenda Beadle. I will take some questions. However, there are quite a few people here today, and there's some media outlets and some people that I don't generally see on a day-to-day basis. So, before you announce your question, please give me your name and your news affiliation, and I will take some questions at this time.
Brian Asper, Channel 6. Can you elaborate a little bit more on his motivation? So he was a disgruntled employee, do you think?
At this point in time, he was a resident. He is a doctor doing his residency in the Creighton Pathology Department for that 11-month stint, basically. He was terminated by Dr. Hunter and Dr. Brumback, and he has not lived in Omaha for 12 years since then that we are aware of. We do have evidence that would suggest that he did visit the city of Omaha in 2008 and in 2013 during the times of the homicides.
Chief Schwager, it's Jeremy Masco at KETV. Through the investigation, have you found out why Dr. Garcia was terminated from that residency at Creighton University?
We do know why he was terminated. The specifics I won't say here today, but it was for a form of erratic behavior.
Chief Jake Wazakowski with Action 3 News. Was this man looked at in the Dundee murders back in 2008, or was he a fresh suspect this time around?
The way I will answer that question, and the question was whether or not we looked at Mr. Garcia in 2008. This task force was formed because we knew it was going to take a lot of work, a lot of digging needed to be done. Had it not been for the work of the task force, had it not been for the task force, I do not believe an arrest would have been made here today.
Chief Schmatter, Jeremy Maskell again with Channel 7. You mentioned that you believe Mr. Garcia was in Omaha both in 2008 and 2013. Do you believe he was here at any other point to perhaps plan what happened or scope out his targets?
In the interest of protecting what we have and securing the prosecution as we move forward, I'm gonna leave it at my original statement. We have evidence to suggest that he was here in 2008 and in 2013 during the times of the homicides.
John Chapman, Channel 6. Will you keep this task force together to work on other homicides?
This task force is going to remain in effect because we are continually doing search warrants. We have a lot of work to do on this case yet. And this task force will remain in effect until Douglas County Attorney Don Klein determines that he has everything that he needs from the task force and the manpower and the resources that it brings to bear. At any time in the city of Omaha that there is a homicide, we take it very seriously and we investigate them very deeply and intimately. This particular homicide, we felt early on in 2013, we felt early on it was related to 2008. You have to remember that during my initial press conference, I had to be very careful with my words. I did not want to cause a panic in the city of Omaha, and I also knew that a murderer was listening to everything that I said. So that is the reason why the task force was formed, because of the nature of these four murders and the time apart. Not all homicides require a task force, but all of them receive the utmost Omaha Police Department attention.
Chief, do you know,
Yes.
Were Thomas Hunter and Shirley Sherman targeted?
We believe the target was not Shirley Sherman and Thomas Hunter.
Chief, when you were able to talk with that family this afternoon, can you talk a little bit about what they said?
Absolutely not. I will not divulge the conversations that we had with any of the victims' families. That is between us and them.
Chief, thank you, Brian Gerald. Can you elaborate any more on why it was imperative to make the arrest, and when, if it had not been today, when were you anticipating that would happen?
Our original operational plan was to serve a search warrant at his house tomorrow. It was going to be a SWAT team search warrant. He became mobile today from his house, and we felt in the interest of public safety and after witnessing his driving behavior that it was imperative that we made a stop. And the Illinois State Police assist us with that traffic stop.
Was the gun a murder weapon?
I'm not going to answer that.
Chief, when you say Mr. Garcia was mobile today, do you believe he was aware of the investigation and the incoming team tomorrow?
I don't think he was aware.
Where at in Illinois was he arrested?
You know, John, I'm not 100% sure on that. I'll get back to you. It was closer to one of the state lines. Take a few more questions.
Chief Justin Pizarro with Action 3 News. So was Garcia under surveillance then from the Illinois State Police?
Members of the task force were monitoring his movements, yes.
At this point in the investigation, Chief, do you believe there were any other targets specifically tied to freight pathology?
Jeremy, that's a good question, and I'm gonna keep that answer to myself right now. There's some things as far as prosecution moving forward that may come into play on that front.
Chief, maybe I missed it, but the other warrants, these are other places that Mr. Garcia had been, and that's what you're serving these other, because you said the task force was spread around the country.
Right, we're serving search warrants at other locations in which he may have worked, lived, or somebody connection to Mr. Garcia that we feel that we need to talk to and execute search warrants at.
Chief, is there a concern that the secrets you have either blossoming or already established